Hello everyone, my name is YK. I'm a developer experience manager at Sourcegraph. It's great to be here. Some of you are pretty far. Feel free to come closer if you want. Feel free to stand up, stretch if you feel like you need to rest. Or are you ready to go now? Yeah? Cool. How's everyone feeling? Yay, cool. All right, but after this demo, you're gonna feel much better, I promise, if it works. So we're gonna be talking about building an AI QA engineer with AI, and we're just gonna get right into it. I believe I have about 20 minutes, so I'm just gonna try to keep everything within time. So the motivation that I had for this particular project that I built is that manual testing sucks. Who can relate with that? If you're a software engineer, you know that writing code is fun, solving problems can be fun, but after writing code, you need to test a lot of things manually. Clicking, dragging, typing, a lot of stuff like that. So how can we automate that whole process? Well, I came up with a solution that you can build a computer-use MCP server. I'm going to explain what that means in a minute. And here, what I want to do is I want to try to show the process of building a project like that in an unfamiliar area with AI. And this should apply to any type of project that you're not familiar with the whole thing. And you might say, okay, why would you want to build this as an MCP server? Let me explain. Here's the setup. The setup is, let's say that you want to run 100 AI agents at the same time, maybe 5, maybe 6. And you want to have everything isolated for each AI agent. One good way to do that is to set up a container or a VM, primarily containers here, where you have an AI agent within the container, and it's able to edit files and run commands, and you have that AI agent alongside your app and developer environment. And that way, it's able to write code, but how can we have it test everything as well? One option is like this. You can modify the code of the AI coding agent itself and then add the capabilities of computer use to it directly so that it's able to, as I said, click things, drag things, type things so that it can write and test code all on its own. This sounds fine, but there are a couple of issues with it. One is that if the AI coding agent is not open sourced, you can't easily edit the code and add this capability. The other thing is from the context engineering and context management perspective, this is not necessarily the most efficient because when you use a lot of computer use, you need to use a lot of screenshots. If you put it in the main AI agent conversation, that can take a lot of tokens pretty quickly. So here is an alternative approach. You can instead create a computer use MCP server. How that works is you're going to add a different model, sometimes different model, sometimes the same model with the computer use capabilities. In this particular case, Claude for Opus, that's very important. That's able to click things, drag things, and so on, so that the main AI agent can use this as a sub-agent. What that means is that it's able to ask it, hey, this computer use MCP server, can you complete this particular task that I'm trying to test? So that way, the computer use MCP server is going to figure out the exact series of actions to take, and then it'll come back at the end and say, here's the result, the main agent. Do whatever you want with it. You can actually add a couple more things for convenience. One is you can have it so that you can SSH into the AI agent if it's a CLI agent. You can also add this kind of split view VS Code UI and server separately so that you're able to edit files within the container from outside the container from the host machine. And then the last thing is if you have a VS Code that acts as your AI coding agent, like AMP, that I've been a part of a team working on, then you can add that too. So let me show you how to build it. The whole thing really comes down to decomposing the problem into smaller problems and then a little bit of context engineering. I'm going to have Google's Annie's help holding the mic here. I'm just going to dive into the demo here. And yeah. Okay, so the setup here is just a single file, agent.md, that says use Podman instead of Docker for all container operations. And this gets loaded in the AMP agent every time we start a new conversation. I'm just going to close it. And then one of the sub-problems is like this. Create a new folder that has the configuration file for the VS Code developer container. All I want is I want to be able to demonstrate VS Code developer containers, so I don't want anything else, just the empty configuration file. So that's one of the sub-problems that I'm going to solve. The second one is I want to create a simple MCP server. So for that, create a new folder. And this server should have a single file and a single function. And that is for it to be able to add two numbers together. That's it, nothing else. And for you to find exactly how to build this, look up online, try to find tutorials from Anthropic ideally, from using Python. I think that's the right one. And then feel free to create a virtual environment using Python. Feel free to install all the dependencies there. I'm just going to stop there, and then I'm not going to stop, but just add a little bit. To add a little bit here, after all of that, give me the absolute path of the virtual environment Python binary, as well as the Python server absolute path. That's it. I know this is a long prompt, but it should work. And then the third thing I'm going to build is look up online and find the Anthropic quick start tutorial, because I want to be able to clone it here so that I'm able to build the container using Podman and run it using Podman. So give me those commands and feel free to run them as well. Podman looks fine, I think. Anthropic, I forgot. Computer use, that's very important. All right, let's see how much we can make it work here. The first one, it looks like it's done. So the point of the whole exercise is that each individual problem is easy enough for couple of prompts to solve. But once you solve them, you can just combine them together by asking the agent to look at those different projects. So here, what's happening is I'm launching a developer container, through VS Code. This might take a little bit of a while. So let's just wait for that. And then here, it's doing the MCP server, setting up everything. It looks like it was able to clone the computer use demo. Good thing I didn't forget to say that. So let's wait for that. And then this is taking a while. I'm not sure why it's taking so long. Minimum configuration, let's actually take a look at what we have here. Oops. Oh, now it's launching. Nice. And you can see that this is in a container already because this is, because of the directory here. So I'm just going to stop here. And then there's one more thing I need to build, which is, okay, that looks good. I want you to add one more thing here, which is I want you to install the Sourcegraph AMP VS Code extension automatically within that container. Make sure to look up online to find the exact ID of the Sourcegraph AMP VS Code extension. Sourcegraph AMP, that should be good enough. Just checking everything. And then I'm going to go to, let's do the Python one. All right. It gave me the Python virtual environment binary. I'm not sure if it's the right one, but we can test to see if that works. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to combine them together just so I can copy and paste the whole thing here and add it as an MCP server here, test. And please let me know if I'm running out of time so I can stop and then wrap it up. Like when I have 2 more minutes, please let me know. And then I'll just do the Python binary path. And this one, trying to add it here. Connection was closed unexpectedly. Oh, okay. So it looks like it didn't install MCP. This type of bug is very common for a situation like this. It looks like you didn't install the MCP server in the correct virtual environment. So feel free to create that if necessary, and then give me the absolute path of that. and then I'll give it the error command. I'll make as much progress as we can here. All right, it looks like it was able to follow the instruction for the VS Code container one. And I'm going to show you like how everything fits together too in a minute. I'll just wait for this button to show up, but I think we need to actually rebuild and reopen in container. So that's the VS Code developer container thing. You can look it up if you're interested. Anthropic Cloud computer use thing here. Build the container. It looks like it's asking me to run that build. All right, I need to go there, I think. Or actually, let me just ask it to run. Can you just build a container here for me and then run it for me as well? Let's see if that works. And then we have the new thing here. This one looks correct. Virtual environment and absolute paths. So I'm just gonna try to combine them together. How are we doing on time? I'm just gonna try to...
Yep, 3 minutes.
3 minutes. This might be the last thing I can show here, or one of the last things here. Let's check back on this thing here. Secondary sidebar. I want to see if AMP was correctly installed. Nice. I think it was... Wait. Okay, it installed the old... VS Code extension that we had, Kodi. It's called AMP now. But these systems sometimes do make mistakes. But you get the point here. This thing, the point is that it is installed within the container, not outside of it. And then, all right, MCP server connection was closed unexpectedly. So this was working every single time. But demo gods are not being kind to me today. But the last thing I want to show, just gonna switch back to switch to Cloud Code here to do something simple here. I'll say, what Podman containers are running? Can you just stop them? And this is important for the next part of the demo. So what I was trying to show, which normally works, is these 3 things. I was trying to create a dev container with an AI coding agent inside it, a simple MCP server, and then a computer use demo, so that we know these blue parts are working, when they work, so that we can combine them at the end to create the setup that I showed you at the beginning, the dev container with a computer use MCP server. And it looks like we don't have any containers running. So I'm just going to show you, cooking show style, the last thing that I should have at the end of the day, combining all of these things together. And I should have reopen container, this thing right here. And then it should set up everything with the GUI and everything here. I'll wait for the ports to become active. And then I think while we wait for that, I'm just gonna set up the prompt here, which is using your computer use capabilities, open the terminal, open the VS Code window, and see what extensions are installed. If you have the AMP extension installed, then go ahead and try to break it. If you are able to do that, let me know. So that's going to be the prompt that I'm going to use. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but I'm going to connect to the container that we have. And then I'll just do that. And that's pretty much the demo. This is going to take a while for this to complete this task, if it's able to do it. But thank you so much. All right. Oh yeah, one last quick thing, just one slide here.
Good.
Yeah.
You want to hold this for you?
Oh, it's okay. So if you want to see like a working version of the demo or a newsletter where I talk more about coding with AI, feel free to check that on the left. On the right, you'll see a WhatsApp group where we have a group of AI dev tool builders, investors, and users. So feel free to join us there. And if you have any questions, feel free to find me on LinkedIn or email me at this email address right here. Thank you so much again.